I think it's important for folks who are taking training on an important topic like research ethics and compliance to really understand who's behind it, who created the courses, what expertise do they have. Take this time to talk a little bit about who Sherry and I are, what our background is, what our interests are, and our experience, so you can understand why we think we're really able to create great courses.
Ann and I started our federal careers at the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and ended our careers at the National Institutes of Health, though our paths in between were slightly different. I'm a physician by training. I am a board-certified general preventive medicine and public health physician, and spent most of my federal career at the National Institutes of Health, first working in an institute, the Cancer Institute, and then the last 10 years of my service was in the Office of Extramural Research in the Office of the NIH Director. One of my many responsibilities was to develop policy, to implement policy, to evaluate policy, and to do training on it. So in the context of what we've done here in developing this course, I initially, with two colleagues, wrote the original Protecting Human Research participant course that came out in 2009 and was offered at the NIH through October of 2018. I was fortunate to have Ann join me working in the office, and I'm going to let her talk about her expertise in a second. But both of us had responsibilities not only in developing and implementing policy, but also in developing and understanding regulations that drive policy development, including the common rule, which is protecting human subjects, what our course is based off of. As the common rule was developed, our expertise and comments, along with others at the NIH, is what informed the Office of Human Research Protection in developing the revised common rule. So not only do we have responsibility in the area of human subjects, but our office is really responsible for all of the NIH staff training at every level. And so we've had a lot of experience in adult learning. And as we've come to see, adult learning has evolved, certainly with the advent of online courses, e-learning, and now with remote learning. And we've had experience with all of that. In our experience with this particular course, before we left NIH, we had trained about 3 million folks in this particular topic worldwide in about 160 countries in 2 languages, English and Spanish. Our course now is expanded to French, and we've trained an additional almost 100,000 folks in this topic. So I think we have both the expertise in the subject matter, given our contribution to informing the development of the regulation and the policies, but also understanding how to offer adult learning opportunities such that it's palatable on subjects that aren't always exciting, but necessary in order for us to conduct research on human subjects.
My background's a little bit different. I have a doctoral degree in infectious disease epidemiology, and my career started when the AIDS epidemic was just starting. So I worked at CDC for a number of years on AIDS. I transitioned over to another CDC office, the National Center for Health Statistics, where I led a large national health survey for a number of years on a variety of topics. And then I ended my career at the NIH. In my last position in NIH, I was one of 2 human subjects protections officers. And in that role, I was responsible for developing training. We developed a training program for all NIH staff that was a tiered program. So everybody we felt needed to know a little bit about the human subjects protections. And depending on your roles and responsibilities in NIH, you had to learn more. Again, ran the Protecting Human Research Participants, which was a very popular free course that NIH offered to meet their requirement for training. We were very heavily involved in the redesign of the common rule, the first major redesign of those rules in 30 years. So we really understand what went into it and why, and then how to implement them. We also have a number of years of service on institutional review boards. I currently volunteer on one for a large university in the Washington, D.C. area. Sherry has served for many years on one of the institutional review boards at the NIH intramural. So we both understand how those regulations have to be translated in the real world research setting. So I think all of this gives us really the in-depth knowledge about the regulations, but also how to teach about them and how to implement them in research.
So even though we have all that expertise, once we've developed our courses, we do have them vetted by other colleagues who are also expert in the field, so that there is another layer of oversight or quality assurance, if you will, to make sure that the information that we are conveying is correct, accurate, and timely. And we have a vast professional network that we pull from, and to date, that's worked very well for us.
Yeah, I'd say for each of our courses, we've had some of the leading experts in the field review them.
And they've all been quite excited about the novelty in which we've done it. The course as it exists hadn't been offered in that way since we're offering it on the new common rules. So that was not the course that we had written before. So it allowed us also to put some bells and whistles on the course that we were not able to in our previous position, really to enhance the learner's experience and to make it resonate with something that frankly is often considered tedious but necessary in order to do. And I think that's what makes the course very palatable, the way it's set up. And we invite you to look at our other videos to understand more about the course and its offerings.
We just recently had the course working with a new client who's very experienced in cancer research and in running IRBs, who was looking over the course to recommend it to his clients, and said he was very impressed that it was much better organized than other courses, and the modular format works really well. It's more geared towards learning than other courses that just seem to want to list facts, and that he even said he learned some things which surprised him.
I'm always curious to ask him, what was that fact you learned that you didn't know? But we were pretty happy to have that feedback. It validated what we feel is that we offer a quality product for an affordable price to an expansive audience.
People you need to know when you're taking training on a pretty complex topic. It's really important to know who developed it. So I think that's important to keep in mind when you're going to be doing training on a topic as important as this.